So, today we're going to talk about the Blockbuster business model of no more late fees and why I actually think this was a bad idea. Now, I mentioned it in my previous video and talked a little bit about the late fee structure, but I wanted to look a little deeper into it rather than just going off the dome from what I remember from my short stint from 2006 to 2009. I wanted to see what was the thinking behind this. Is it just my instinct saying it was a bad idea, or was it really, looking back from even a business perspective, a bad idea? And what Blockbuster was trying to do by getting the goodwill of the people back. Actually, doing some amazing Googling, it is interesting to find some things I wasn't aware of, such as the late fee structure was 10 to 15% of Blockbuster's revenue. That is a significant portion. It's actually a little less than I thought it would be, but still, you're already competing with Netflix and Redbox, and now you have 15% of your profit undercut. Well, let's look at why they decided to do it. And why not only was this deceptive, there is a restocking fee, and then they would sell the movie to you. So let's first look at the structure of late fees and how Blockbuster did it. So you see here that the late fee policy, this was before 2005 when they quote-unquote got rid of late fees, was for DVDs and VHS, $1.25 to $2, and that's per day. And then for video games, $2 to $3. They also did this thing where they would have the items due back by noon. This was always an annoying thing, even when I worked there, because nobody's going to return their movies at literally noon. So you're going to either return it before or after, and really, you're going to return it after. People aren't going to the drop box at 8 a.m. in the morning before going to work. This was a silly way. They should have made the due date like before closing or something like that. Return the movie before 10 p.m. and we won't charge you a late fee. Return it before 12 p.m. If you return it at 2 p.m., you now have a $1.25 late fee. This was always a bad idea, and it was just a way to catch people up in late fees. I do want to add something here that in some ways this does make sense, because in order for a movie to be late, you have to check the movie in. So we would get the movies in the morning and then you would check them in. The problem Blockbuster was running into is if you allow people to return the movie at 10 p.m. and the store closes at 10 p.m., so I guess they return at 9:55, that movie won't be checked in till tomorrow morning. But once again, they could still figure this way out. They could just tell people to return it by 10 p.m. And then if that movie is returned, not checked in from 10 p.m. to when the store opens at 10 a.m., and you can see it's in the drop box, and you check them in, give them a bit of a grace period, maybe even a grace period they don't exactly know about, of 8, 10, 11, 12 hours. This would have been a better way of handling it. But this was explained to us that we have to check the movies in at the morning, whereas at the night shift, you really don't have time to be checking in movies. Scan every single barcode of every movie that someone returns. So it puts it back in the system, scan the barcode, goes into the computer. This movie is now checked in and now available for rent at the store. Put the lock on it, set it aside, check in the next movie, scan it, gets put in the computer, put the lock on it, and it would have been a little more clear to people. Because a lot of people got angry at the 12 p.m. check-in, and we would have to try to explain, well, you can do it overnight. It gets checked in at the morning, so technically you can do it at 11 a.m. You can do it at 9 p.m. That's really when you should return it. I think psychologically it just messed with people a little bit, but there was a reason for this that is comprehensible. Now, as we can see here, with the no more late fees, you could keep a movie for 7 days and return the item and have no fee, including the restocking fee. Now, here's the real kicker. So as I said before, you could keep the movie for 30 days and only be charged a restocking fee. But once again, this is where they poorly explained it. People hated paying this restocking fee, which it says here was $1.25. I remember it being $1.25 as well. So right here it says, after that, Blockbuster automatically charge you the full retail price. If you returned it within 30 days, you get a refund minus the restocking fee. Now, here's why this is bad. And I remember this happening. So they can keep it for 7 days and return the item with no fee, including restocking fee. However, we had to get people's credit card information on file. When I first started working there, they really were pushing to update people's credit card information, because before that, you could actually sign up for a Blockbuster card without putting in a credit card. So there were accounts that did not have credit cards on there. They wanted us to update them. And then for anyone new who signed up, we had to make sure they had a credit or debit card on file. What they would do is after the 7 days, they would charge the person's credit card. So we would get tons of angry customers coming in that we overdraft their bank account, because let's say you had $20 in your bank account, you keep this movie for 8 days, it now charges you $30 to your bank account. So now you're overdraft. Now, if you return the movie within 30 days, that money will be refunded. But it still sucks that this person's bank account got overdrafted from something they didn't expect. Or they look on their bank account, online or otherwise, and they just see a charge, $35, and the video games would be more expensive, $60 from Blockbuster. And they go, what the hell is this? Why is Blockbuster randomly charging me $35? Maybe they forgot they had a movie. Maybe their son rented it. Mom rented it for their daughter. Maybe they knew that they still had the movie, but they're like, this is not the old system. I thought there was no more late fees. And that's why they should have never named it no more late fees. Call it a restructuring fee. Say that we're lowering late fees. Hi, we're Blockbuster. We're now lowering late fees. Because that's kind of technically true. They're lowering the late fee. But there is still late fees. You get the restocking fee, and they are still going to sell the movie to you and charge your bank account. And it's not like we really told people this when they signed up. At least I don't remember giving a dissertation for every single person that signed up about the new late fee structure. From what I could tell, since I came in over a year after they started this, when they first started implementing this policy, they had to explain it to people, but the policy had already been in place for more than a year, so the thinking was people already got it. They absolutely did not get it. This had to literally be explained to them, and understandably had to be explained to them. It's a confusing system. No more late fees, except for we are going to charge your bank account, and you better have enough money in there, or you better not be wanting to use that $30, $40, $50, $60. You hear me, poor college student? But don't worry, we'll refund it. I mean, it still might take a few days for it to be refunded. So this is why this was dumb. They should just continue late fees, lowered the late fees, and maybe done an advertisement on that. I was actually looking at this, since I wasn't around when they implemented late fees. $1 to $2 a day is pretty crazy for a movie, especially when you have to return it at noon. So I can understand people being upset. And like I said, some places like Hollywood Video did it even worse. They charge you hundreds of dollars. Then my dad would have to hide from the Hollywood Video police. Actually, I remember we just didn't go to that location again. To be continued on video 2, where we dive deeper into the late fee fiasco. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks.